Hello everybody, this is Miranda the Hybrid, and today we are going to go over the importance of clipping masks. Now, I'm using Procreate on an iPad Pro, but this particular technique applies to many different programs. I made a video on TikTok that went really viral. In fact, I made a few TikTok videos that went very viral, and I always introduced it by making this really funky text, and then I would write something in the text and it would appear in different colors. And lots of people were asking me how I did that, because the first time I did it, it had a white background. And so I tried making a video showing people how to do this crazy, amazing technique. And lots of people commented that instead of doing the more complicated technique I showed, that they could just drop a color like this, add some, oh, that's a very bright pink, add some cool, interesting shapes in the background, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like this. And then you could put a layer of pure white on top. And to get the text, you would simply erase in those shapes, like that. Well, that's great, but what if you want the background to be transparent? Or what if you want to see things from other directions? Well, this is why clipping masks are extremely important. And I'm going to show you how they work, and why they're so cool. So let's start off by making a cool texture. Or actually, let's go even more simple. Let's start off by making a sphere. Let's make a nice orange sphere. In fact, let's do that. Let's draw an orange. Now I'm going to use an ink, and I'm just going to quickly mock up the shape of an orange. Actually, it looks like a pomegranate. We're going to make a pom orange. So we have this orange. Now what I used to do before I knew about clipping masks is I would put a new layer on top for shading. I'd get my dark. I'd choose my let's use Evolve. That seems like a fun brush. I'd carefully shade on the bottom like this to get the shadows, and then I would pop in some highlights on the top to get my highlights in there, and then finally, my little super duper bright bip of a highlight up there. And then I would be like, well, damn, look, there's overlay, there's overlap right there. This is a really cool brush. There's overlap right there. What am I going to do about the overlap? And what I did as a young artist is I would go in and I would simply erase it. I would be like, okay, let's get rid of this, and we have the shape of the shape again. And this was extremely time consuming. Now, what if I told you that there's a way to draw on the lines every single time, and it's way easier? Well, that's what clipping masks are about. Let's say that we go back to our crazy shading, and we wanted to add a rim light, for instance. Let's make it something crazy, like green. And so we put that rim light in. Well, that's going to be a crazy looking rim light. And, well, when you're younger, you're like, well, okay, now I have to erase all that craziness. Let's make sure to add our little bit of darkness over it one more time. Oh, now I have to erase all this, right? Wrong. All you have to do is create a clipping mask. What a clipping mask does, and watch this, is it will take this layer and apply it to only the shape right below it. So if we go here and press clipping mask, suddenly it's only applying to that shape. And that is beautiful, because now you can turn off the background. Look at that, it's still there. It is only affecting that. And if you jump back into the clipping mask, and you make another one, yeah, let's make another one. Let's turn on our clipping mask again. Let's give them, like, I don't know, some really crazy textures. What's another crazy texture? Let's go to Fever. Actually, that's actually pretty. How about not with the pandemic going around? Let's go to Groovy. Let's get this guy hopping. Let's make him look really cool. A nice deep purple that's kind of complementing these colors. And we can go back and forth like that. And see, you can see the shape of my brush outside. This little outline is now it's down, it's on the right side, it's up, and you can't see anything drawing. But as soon as I go into our pom orange, it's suddenly creating those textures. And this is why a clipping mask is important. It'll save you so much time on so many different things, because you'll only be affecting your drawing, and you don't have to do any of that erasing. Now, let's say you wanted to do the cool text like I did once. I'll show you exactly how I did it. So we're going to turn on the background color, just for, as I would say, hopefully I don't get demonetized this, shites and giggles. And let's start making a nice, cool, bright, poppy texture, just like I used to introduce my my TikTok videos. I'm going to, wow, that is a fun texture. Okay, so let's put in some of those colors. I'm going to put in some dark red, and let's use Fever. even though I said I wouldn't before. We're going to use fever now. Let's put in some cool texture over here, and let's jostle in some rad. Let's go with the primaries. I'm going to use yellow. Oop, that's too small. You just getting some interesting textures in there. Let's go back to our blues maybe and put something else in, something textural. Let's find a good texture in here. Hearts looks like it'll be good texture. Let's just bop in a bit more texture, maybe something a bit darker, something deeper, something prettier, just like that. Yeah. So we have a really cool looking texture here, and I want to write over it now. What I'm going to do is this is going to be our clipping effect layer, and layer 2 is going to be the layer that it's affecting. Now right now there's obviously nothing in layer 2. Let's choose a pen that we're going to use to make our writing. I'm going to use Blackburn, and I'm going to take this layer right here, this one that we made all that crazy texture on, and I'm going to turn it into a clipping mask. Now it turned white because there's nothing for the clipping mask to actually affect, but as soon as we start writing, or it should work like this. Oh, here we're on the wrong layer, that's why. As soon as we start writing in layer 2, it's popping up. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Look at those crazy textures. And that's how I was doing the beginning before. And here's the even better thing about this. Now we can turn off our background. And now I can create color and texture out of literally nothing. And that's why clipping masks are so important. Because now you can draw a pine tree, or, any sort of tree really. And you can just okay, let's draw a tree here. Let's make a palm tree. Just like that. Very, very crappy looking palm tree, but you get the idea. So now we have our palm tree. And if we wanted, I'm going to make a new clipping mask and put it over this one. We want to shade it. And instead of wasting our time drawing on all these different layers, we can just shade it from the side, just like that. Give it its sideways. Yeah, get the sand nice and textured, put some shading on those leaves, just like that. And bam! So much faster and so much cleaner. And that's why we use clipping masks. And these are in almost any program. They're in Ibis Paint. They are under different names, obviously. Ibis Paint, you find them in Photoshop, and you find them here in Procreate. So please, use clipping masks. Learn how to use them. It'll make you a faster and more efficient digital artist. I hope you guys enjoyed this, though, and I hope you all have a good day. Hang in there.